Welcome to a new episode, Deep Dive today with Fenigson. Hi Efrat, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate it a lot that you're having time, that you spend your time with us. Before we start and talking about what's happening right now in Israel, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Sure, so today I'm an independent journalist and a podcaster. I'm based in Tel Aviv. Actually, I'm a former CMO, Chief Marketing Officer in global companies, and with a career of about 20 years in global marketing. And I switched to journalism about 3 years ago when COVID started, and I saw that there was a gap in the mainstream media not reporting everything that's happening. I was still working as a marketeer and doing both things, but this year I focus mostly on journalism. I also run a large community of 150 chief marketing officers in Israel that are all working globally around the world for the past 7 years. So I'm the founder of that community. And I have really extensive background in tech and marketing. And today, all I do is report from Israel on what's happening to the world.
So how is the situation right now since Saturday? What happened?
Right. So Saturday morning, around 6 a.m., sunrise, around 1,000 Hamas terrorists breached the border fence in multiple places. They were completely unimpeded, and that led to terror attacks and kidnappings in Israeli towns and villages around the Gaza Strip. I woke up from the sirens and the rockets going off at 6 a.m., and since then it just started going downhill. We started getting reports from people that live around the Gaza envelope area, people that were locked inside their shelters for, it started with 4 or 5 hours with no help, and it went up to 8-9 hours, and some people were stuck in their shelters for even 24 hours, and no one came for the rescue, no police, no army, no civil help. It was really astounding. And then we started getting reports from a music festival that took place around the area as well. 5,000 people attended this music festival, and the sightseeings from there are horrifying because young adults that were partying were essentially ambushed by the Hamas terrorists and then slaughtered. Some managed to escape by running into the fields and finding hiding places, and some were captured, tortured. We know of some young women that were raped and later taken hostage. Many of these young adults are missing and their families are going crazy. So just to give you some of the numbers, we know of around 280 people that are still missing. We have the death toll is going up by the minute, anywhere between 800 to 1,000 people that are dead. More than 2,000 people are injured, out of them 300 severely injured. More than 100 people were kidnapped, including moms with babies, kids, old people, and of course young men and women from the party. And apparently among the kidnapped there are also a few American citizens. We already know of about 60 Israeli dead soldiers. Police officers were also murdered. So the casualties are really horrible. And as you know, yesterday the IDF started attacking Gaza. So now we're in a full-blown war. They bombed many points inside Gaza, including one tunnel. There are over 400 terrorists killed so far. But we also know that there are still Hamas soldiers running around Israel, and there are still fighting happening, mostly in the area around Gaza, but also up north we're starting to receive reports of rockets being fired from Hezbollah near the border of Lebanon. And as we speak, I hear bombings around me here in Tel Aviv. So they're still firing missiles into the center area of Israel. Israel is very small, so it's quite easy to, reach everywhere. So the sightseeings are very, very difficult. You see a lot of footage from social media, people that are reporting firsthand, and unfortunately, many of the family members or friends of people are actually finding out on what's happening with them through that footage and not through other means, which is horrible. I can go on about my background in the army and what I'm seeing, because I'm raising some questions, because what have happened is very, very strange.
Yeah, before we deep dive into this topic, let me ask you, how are you right now? How is your family? How is everybody feeling in Israel? They are under shock, or they are angry, or what's the atmosphere right now in the...
Well, it's very, very, very difficult right now. I can tell you that there is a combination of shock, anxiety, a lot of fear. People don't know if to leave the house, not to leave the house, where to go, how to go. And there is a lot of frustration because of assistance and help coming in very, very late, if at all. The good thing is that people very quickly start to organize within themselves to support the people in need. So we have a lot of donations coming in of money, but also of food and clothing and everything people need in order to pass them over to people that have been evacuated from their homes. And also, funnily enough, to soldiers that are reporting they don't get enough helmets and vests and food. And, we know that there are delays, and the IDF spokesperson is saying that, don't worry, we have all the supplies, it just takes time until people get them. But people don't waste time, and we're starting to operate already, the civilians are starting to operate already. Personally, I'm fine, and my family is okay. I'm at home in Tel Aviv, but we may go to other cities that are a little bit more secure in the next few days.
Okay. And this strike happened like a surprise to everybody. I have the feeling that the government is totally under shock as well, and they don't react like, they should actually. And you just said the same. So how could this happen? Because I always thought with Iron Dome and the fences and the army, it's the most secure place in the world actually. So what happened to Mossad? Did they sleep, or what's happening?
This is exactly my question, Marc, because, I served in the army, in the intelligence forces for 25 years ago when I was a soldier. And I know the security drills, I know the layers of defense, I know the spreading of forces on the ground, I know the different divisions that are working, that are supposed to be alerted and that supposed to know about things like that. And there is a big question mark on what happened to the intelligence of Israel. There was a Hamas soldier that was caught yesterday, and he said in his investigation, he said, we prepared for over a year. Okay, if they have prepared for over a year, I'm telling you that there is no chance that the intelligence forces of Israel and the Mossad, the Shabak, everyone did not know about this. It's been 5 hours till Israel started shooting at us, he said. And that is true. There was nothing for 5 full hours. The border fence was completely open in 15 different places where they breached, and there was no helicopter, no drone, no, artillery, nothing. And they said it themselves. The guy that was caught said, we were all set up with 1,000 soldiers. We created 15 breaches in the border fence. We were surprised and shocked that the IDF is not waiting for us. Now, I served near the Gaza border 25 years ago. When I served, there was no internet. Now everything is a lot more sophisticated. But even then, when I served, a cat moving alongside the fence would trigger all the necessary forces. Today, they have automatic weaponry machines that are supposed to shoot anything near the fence that is coming close. They have, as I said, helicopters, drones, they have everything, and nothing was working. So this is a really important question. How come there was no retaliation? How come nothing happened for so long, for 5-6 hours? This is very untypical and unusual for the Israeli Defense Forces. So something must have happened. There are some rumors about cyber attacks, but this has not been confirmed. You know, some people try to justify saying, okay, if there was a cyber attack on the defense forces, then maybe all the systems were down, but still there are supposed to be forces on the ground. There are plan Bs, you know, they have all the different means to take care of incidents like that. On top of that, I just want to add that the Hamas published video materials about 3 weeks ago of their exact plan on how they will penetrate and attack Israel. And one of the reporters that have reported on this is asking, like me, where is the Israeli intelligence? He's calling it, and I am calling it as well, one of the bigger failures, even bigger than the Yom Kippur War, which was 50 years ago, exactly on the day, by the way. It was 6th of October, 1973, and now we are 50 years later on the day. This is very alarming, very strange. So I don't know to tell you exactly the answer of why this is happening, but it feels like the people of Israel and the people of Palestine have been sold once again to the higher powers that be, that there may be some, and I'm trying not to be conclusive at all, but just to raise the speculation that there are some forces here that have enabled this to happen, that have allowed this to happen. Because this kind of disaster has not been seen in Israel for a very long time, if ever, in the history of Israel.
Yeah. I have friends in Israel, I have friends in Palestine, and they both are shocked actually, because they say the same. It was the first question they asked themselves. So how could this happen? Because Israel actually is in a state of war for like 50 years. They prepared, they're just waiting for it actually. It's a ticking time bomb. They knew something will happen one day. So what happened? Did they went lazy or on holiday or
did
Shabbat?
They fall asleep? I want to add another important detail to this. You should know that one of the things that have happened about a week ago or a few days ago is that many of the forces that were occupying the envelope of the Gaza Strip were moved to another area of Israel. So the whole Gaza battalion was moved to the area of Samaria and Judea, which is near Jerusalem, because there were other security needs there. And it means that a lot of the area was left either unoccupied or mostly unoccupied. They're talking about 60 to 80% of the forces that were moved. So there were way less forces that were supposed to be present in that area in a normal day that were supposed to be. So this is very, very disturbing. And I don't know to say what the reasons are for this, but I'm telling you that there is no chance that the intelligence did not know about this, or at least something like a hint or a clue that this is about to happen.
That's very interesting, because I always thought Mossad or the IDF are the most sophisticated, well-equipped, best-equipped army and intelligence agency in the world. And then something like this happened. It doesn't add up, you know. I don't want to spin any conspiracy theories, but I want to ask some questions. And I think the people in Israel as well. What's going on? What's happening? Because now we are not seeing a normal attack. This is like a full-blown war. It's like all-out war right now. Yeah. And this can escalate pretty soon, pretty much. And some people already raised the question: was this perhaps, the free letter to start a full-blown war against Palestine or against, I don't know, whoever? So what's your take on this? You think this will escalate even more, and will we see like the US or Iran jump into it?
So we already know that Iran is behind this. The deputy Hamas leader, Salah al-Aruri, suggested that they want to use Israeli prisoners for leverage in negotiation, which goes to show that there may be a bigger plan behind the scenes here, that maybe, and I'm being very careful saying just maybe, they needed a situation where they have Israeli hostages in order to justify releasing very dangerous prisoners that are locked up in Israel. And they needed an incident like this to happen. We already know that Iran is behind this. The Hamas spokesperson told the BBC that Hamas received support from Iran for its surprise attack on Israel. Iran has publicly praised these attacks. So we know they're behind this. There is also, if you're looking at the US and what's happening there's criticism on the Biden administration now for unfreezing $6 billion last month, allegedly for humanitarian aid, but the Iranian president explicitly said that they'll use this money, which is theirs, for whatever they see fit, and they're not asking anyone how to use it. So a lot of money has been passed through this channel, and we know that Iran is sponsoring, funding, and backing the Hamas. We also know that Iran is doing the same with the Hezbollah up north in the border of Lebanon and Syria. So, and Hezbollah has already said that they will move into Israel or start attacking Israel the moment Israel goes into the Gaza Strip. So this is all a chain reaction kind of event. It's going to escalate for sure. We're already seeing tanks and Air Force going into the Gaza Strip. So, and reserves are being recruited all around Israel to come back to the bases and start preparing. So I think we are going to see a full-blown war here.
So you think it will take longer than a couple of days? It will be like perhaps weeks or months?
I have a feeling, but I'm not the expert on that. I have a feeling this is going to be a long and dirty one, very, very dirty for both sides. It's really weird. I must also add another interesting point by a retired general from the army. His name is Yitzhak Brick. He's been, blowing the horn for a long time, blowing the whistle, saying that Israel is not ready for such a full-blown war. He's saying that Gadi Eisenkot, which is the former IDF chief of general staff, fought to hide his reports on the IDF's unpreparedness for war. Brick said in April this year and many times before that Israel is not ready for an all-out war, and he laid out the reasons for it. I won't go into them because I'm not the expert, but I'm just bringing that voice as well. There have been voices in the defense systems in the past year and also before that Israel is not ready, and there are many processes and just ways of handling the situations that are not suitable for a country like Israel that has to defend itself. And so I can tell you that this guy, Yitzhak Brick, has not been invited to speak on the mainstream media for years and years because of his criticism. But now, in the last few days, he has been invited suddenly to Channel 12 and mainstream media, because now they're looking at what he's saying, oh, maybe he knew something, maybe we should start listening to him. So this is very disturbing. Yeah.
So how reacts the media actually and the government? So what did they say? What is media TV Channel 12 saying? So what's the feedback?
So let's start with the fact that the mainstream media was very quiet for many, many hours when this started on Saturday morning. And that was weird because what was happening was very severe, and the citizens were, relying on the mainstream media to tell them what's happening and what they need to do next. And the IDF spokesperson apparently forbid the mainstream media to tell the complete truth. They wanted to regroup, think, whatever, and precious time passed by when people were dying and being hijacked and murdered during this time, and no one had any visibility, so we started relying on word of mouth from people on the ground. Only 12 hours after the event started, the people of Israel received the first formal announcement from the IDF spokesperson. Only 12 hours later, at 7 p.m. at night. So forgive me that I don't consider our prime minister's statement as anything truthworthy, because I don't, but he came out, I think, 5 or 6 hours after this has started to say, we are working on it, we have consultations, we're talking about what to do, but there was no real, transparency or information for us to do anything with. We were kept completely in the dark. So I have zero trust in our prime minister. I have not much trust in the mainstream media. They have now started reporting. We saw maybe 2 brave mainstream media reporters that have started asking the tough questions really early on. But other than that, it wasn't media blackout, of course, but it was very partial and very, very strange.
We saw in the last couple of months many protests against Premier Minister Netanyahu and his reform plans. Hundreds of thousands of people went on the streets and protested against him. I think this is now over. People won't go on the streets anymore because of the war and the attacks.
Well, it's not that it's over. They will definitely pause it during this time of war, and everyone is at the moment completely recruited to go to the army or help people in need. So the focus will not be on that at all. But I'm quite certain that once things settle down, this will come back and even much stronger than before, because the lack of trust in the current administration, also in the previous administrations, is very, very high. People don't trust the institution. They don't trust the government. They definitely don't trust the prime minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. And the demonstrations have been going on for months, I would say about 6 months. So for a long, long time, which goes to show how unstable the political and social situation in Israel is. Israel is highly divided. There is very strong polarity. There is a lot of hatred. It's very easy to pull this divide and conquer mechanism on the people of Israel. They throw baits to the people all the time to spark hatred between religious and secular, right wing, left wing, vaccinated, unvaccinated, whatever you want to whatever groups you want to include in that. They're playing the game constantly. So unification inside of Israel it feels like something far and distant, and these are my prayers. I just hope for people to realize that war is horrible for everyone, for all sides, and we are the ones being maybe sacrificed and hurt here. But the real enemy, to me, is the ones that are not taking care of our interests. There is a conflict of interest between the government of Israel and the people of Israel. And we need to, instead of looking to the sides, we need to look up at the ones that are trying to divide us. I also want to add that the same Hamas soldier that was captured, which I quoted before, he said that the demonstrations in Israel encouraged them to go on. Now, to even prepare for this incident that we saw. Now, I don't know if this is the truth or they're making it up, but if this is true, and the demonstrations have really showed them how unstable the social and political situation in Israel is, then that's another good excuse for an enemy to try and attack the Israeli people.
Yeah, we will definitely pray as well for everybody and hope the best for the next couple of days. Hope that there will be peace, as you can call it, I don't know, but that this stupid killing stops on both sides, of course. And Efrat, I thank you for your time, of course, and I would like to get you back on the channel if something happens. And I recommend everybody to follow your Twitter account. I will put
Twitter
it in
account, but also if people don't have Twitter, then I'm also on Telegram.
Yes, I will put all the links in the show
Substack.
notes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I will put everything in the show notes. And you said it already in your last post on Twitter. So how can people actually help directly? And you have some ideas.
Right. So there are different initiatives that are happening right now. A friend of mine, for example, is working on a big initiative to raise funds from all around the world using crypto and Bitcoin. But at the moment, just because we have to act fast, I have suggested my personal donation line. If people want to financially support the people of Israel that have been evacuated or in need, or even the soldiers, they can directly contribute through my link, and I will pass on the money to all the different groups that I know are in need of funding. So I will give you that link as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Efrat, and I wish the best. I hope you're
Thanks
well.
for having me, Marc. And
Definitely.
I'm sorry that this is the incident that we need to meet.
Next time,
maybe next time we'll talk.
Yeah,
about
because I saw you were also invited to the Bitcoin conference in Amsterdam, and
Correct.
I actually should go there too. But things happen, and we are in a new time, definitely. So next time we can perhaps, hopefully, talk about something different. I hope the best for you, of course, and your family. Bless you, and we talk to each other again. Thank you, Efrat. Take care.